What's up, everybody? This is Renata, Carmen, coming at you with another Fibro and 5, where I try to break down this very confusing illness into little bite-sized pieces that people can hopefully take in and understand, and hopefully other people with illnesses like fibromyalgia won't feel alone, because it's a very isolating experience. Today I'd like to try to give a little breakdown of what it is that's happening when someone is in a fibromyalgia flare, like I am right now. As you can see, I am literally laid out. It's about 9:30 where I am. I've been up for about an hour and a half. And I think that the reason why I'm flared up, everyone triggers differently. All flares are different. They can last for different periods of time. They can come on at different frequencies for different people. So, like for me, I basically go into a flare every time the weather goes through an extreme fluctuation. Unfortunately, we're having that right now, where I am in southwest Vermont. It's mid-March, so spring up here is pretty fickle. It'll be in the 40s one day, and then with a wind chill, factor, snowy and below 10 the next. So when people look at me like this, it's really hard to see what I'm feeling, right? You can tell I'm tired, but you can't really tell what's going on, even people close to me. So I'm going to try to break it down as best I can. And as always, these are done out of love and a desire to spread awareness and compassion. It's not out of a desire for pity or anything like that. Don't want that. Just want understanding, compassion, and support. I'd like to change the way that these illnesses are diagnosed, managed, and perceived. So, alright, here we go. I feel like I've been hit by a Mack truck. I feel like I fell out of an airplane. All my joints hurt really bad. I feel like gravity is like 1,000 times more on me than it is on everything else. I felt like a 90-year-old woman carrying like a 50-pound weight of lead. I feel like my body can barely hold itself up. I'm so exhausted that just getting up to let my cat inside the room is excruciating. Like, imagine the worst flu or cold you've ever had. Or maybe you've had a malaria or something like that. So imagine all that rheumatic pain, the exhaustion, the inflammation, all that stuff. That's what someone like me deals with on basically a daily basis, and it tends to be worst after I've slept. For some reason, it tends to be worst in the morning, and in the late afternoons, I tend to crash unless I've managed my day really well. It depends on setting, weather, environment. A lot of things affect my days, which can make it hard to predict things, and it can make it very confusing for people who don't have this realm of experience, and I wouldn't wish this upon anybody. But again, just trying to explain what someone like me is going through when you see us laid out on the floor. Frontal cortex is totally inflamed. Communication and problem solving are very difficult. I feel seasick, like incredibly nauseous, very dizzy. When I stand up, I get really dizzy. Let's see here. I think that's about it. There's lots of other symptoms that people deal with. Some people, unfortunately, get cold sores, rashes, skin issues. I have a light sensitivity, unfortunately. So I have to be very careful about my UV exposure and make sure to supplement with vitamin D3 to keep everything in balance as much as I can. It also helps a lot with my symptoms. That's something I'll talk about another time. Vitamin D3 is a replacement for prednisone, which I know is very controversial, but we'll talk about that. So I hope that this has been helpful. Again, I don't do these videos out of a desire for pity or anything like that. This is just trained to help spread awareness about these very confusing, invisible illnesses that do affect millions of people all over the world. It affects a lot more people than we know. And we're learning more about the immune system every day than we ever thought we knew. There's so little that we know when it comes to the human body. So I hope that I can also contribute in some way to the science behind trying to figure these things out through my documentation as well. So that being said, I am going to go consume some cannabis. I'm a medical patient. We'll talk about meds. I've talked about cannabis before, but I'm allergic to a lot of meds, including opiates and Zoloft. I have negative experience with Lyrica, prednisone, Plaquenil, basically everything. I've tried everything for fibromyalgia, and there's only really a few things that I can take that are pharmaceuticals, and those are unfortunately addictive and or they stop working pretty fast. So I'm gonna tend to my cannabis tray here, get some in my system, and then I should be able to get up and proceed with my day, which is pretty low-key, but just what I have before me sounds just so... I mean, all I'm doing is just testing out some cosplay looks. I'm just playing with makeup and clothes, and I'm going to be doing some online correspondence, but even that is just impossible right now. All I can do is just write this out and survive it. And I do that through the cannabis, staying positive, and the mindset is huge. The mindset is everything. So I put something on like Tim Ferriss or Joe Rogan or Aubrey Marcus or some other podcast or something, or I put on a movie that I've seen before that makes me feel good, because it's hard for me to follow new plots at this time. So that's what I'm gonna do, so that I can get up and handle my business, because I got shit to do. I can't be laid out from the fibro, but at the same time, when it's like this, all I can do is just take care of myself and write it out. So anyone else who happens to stumble upon this, when you do, I hope it's helpful. Whether or not you have a chronic illness or know someone who does, I hope that this has been enlightening. And hopefully together we can all unite to find better ways of, like I said, diagnosing, managing, and perceiving these very confusing, invisible illnesses. Much love to all the Spoonies and invisible warriors out there, and all those who support us, and anyone who took the time to watch this video. Renata, Carmen, signing off. Peace out.